Good afternoon, everyone. Trashidelek. First of all, I would like to offer my gratitude, my sincere gratitude, to His Majesty the King, for this great harmony in this country. And second, Jabje Rinpoche, His Holiness Jabje Rinpoche, leading a religious harmony so that we are here, having this open interaction, whether you're coming from Mahayana or Theravada or Vajrayana, and even the Vajrayana with the different schools, different lineage, having an open discussion to each other and organized by the Central Monastic Body and the Central Bhutan Study, working with IBC, International Buddhist Society. I would like to say thank you to all the organizers and volunteers and making it very professional, very much to the point, and my deep gratitude and thank you. This is my second time in the Vajrayana conference. The last time I was here was 2022. I was demonstrating a yoga, 2 years ago, trying to break the wood here. Not intentionally, but so 2 years has been passed, and ever since then I have been more corrupted ever since, more lost ever since. Yesterday, Venerable have demonstrated the yoga posture, meditation posture, listened to his teaching, and I liked it very much because it reminded me how pure I used to be, and then realized how corrupted I became now. Yeah. So I would like to say thank you very much to all the participants over here for showing a great interest, wanting to listen from such individual like myself. And Khenpo Phuntshola have explained very much in detail, praising me all the way to the top, right? So now I'm coming down crushing. The higher you go, the more damage is done, when you fall. So he lifted me so much, and now I'm worried about how hard I will fall. But thank you for the introduction and praising me and buttering me so much, So I appreciate that. I doubt myself sometimes whether I'm really worth of that much of a praising or not. As Khenpo have mentioned, I was recognized by His Holiness Dalai Lama and Siddhu Rinpoche when I was very little, and told me that, oh, this boy is very special. I didn't feel anything special within myself. I was thinking, oh yeah, I have a name of Kalu Rinpoche, and that's it. But gradually, as I went to 3 years retreat, the more I came to know the name of the Kalu Rinpoche, the meaning of that, the less I find myself as a Kalu Rinpoche, because previous Kalu Rinpoche is a great master, since the Tibet and the Himalaya and then throughout the world, and respected by so many different traditions. I am the bearer of his name, but I'm nothing like him. I do not have a miracle. I do not have magic powers. I do not predict futures, so do not expect anything from me. What I do have is a life lesson. What I do have is a little bit of struggle. What I have a little bit is a little bit of Dharma experience within myself, a little bit, not too much, just enough to be liberated from the Bardo stage, maybe that much, but nothing beyond that. Enlightenment, reaching to the high realization state, I think you should seek a great masters who are here today. Yeah. So today in this very session, I'm going to talk about Niguma yoga practice on the particular practice about cleansing In Dharmic word, we call it Taji Ai Tongra, so the cleansing with the So there's in the Niguma tradition, we have like an example, many of you are very much familiar with the 6 yogas of Naropa. So similar to that, Niguma is a sister of Naropa. Okay, you have a Vajradhara, you have Telopa, you have Naropa. So the Niguma is a sister. Some historian, they say cousin, consort, different aspect is there. But just keep it open, no need to argue about this is the one, that is not the one. It doesn't make any difference if you don't practice. Yeah. If you don't practice, whether they're brother, sister, cousin, niece, does not matter. If you practice the Buddha's teaching sincerely from the heart, then there's a little bit of difference. But all this historical fact doesn't matter so much. As long as you have a bodhicitta in heart, willingness to help others, willingness to improve yourself, and treat yourself and understanding your own weakness, not to the full capacity, but little by little. Long as a little progression is there, then that is a good start. And that is a good foundation. So Niguma, we have this, the 5 jewels of Niguma. And then in Dharmic word, we call it Tsawa Nigu Churu, Dongpa Chaja Chembo, Yalga Lamkir Namsum, Meto Kachu Karmar, Debuchimi Chume. So these are the 5 jewels of Niguma. We call it the 5 golden dharma of Niguma. So within that, we call it Tsawa Nigu Churu. Tsawa Nigu Churu means the 6 yogas of Niguma is heat generating practice, Tumo, Julu, illusionary body and mind, Tumo, Julu, Milam, dream yoga practice, Tumo, Julu, Milam, Vessel. Vessel means clear light practice. Tumo, Julu, Milam, Vessel, Poa. Poa means transmitting the state of the consciousness to Amitabha Pure Land or Dharmakaya or Nirmanakaya, whatever you like to call it. And Tumo, Julu, Milam, Vessel, Poa, Pardo. And then Pardo means intermediate state. So these are the 6 yogas of Niguma. So once this 6 yogas Niguma is completed in terms of practice, and then there's a Tsawa Nigu Churu, Dongpa Chaja Chembo. Dongpa Chaja Chembo, it means the trunk of the tree is the Mahamudra teachings of Niguma. Tsawa Nigu Churu, Dongpa Chaja Chembo. Yalga Lamkir Namsum. Yalga Lamkir Nam. The branches of the trees are the 3 kayas, the guru, protector, and the deities carrying in your dharmic path inseparably, right? Lama, Yedam, Songma, so inseparably together. And then the flower in the tree is the red dakini and the white dakini. It's more to do with the subtle practice and transmitting the state of the consciousness, okay? Jibuchimichume, the seed within the flower, that is beyond death. So by that stage, the visualization becomes very subtle. You're almost visualizing a very small syllable, small light, and small rotation, very subtle. And then because you are getting very close to the non-duality state, right? Because when we are doing all the Ngondo practice, that is to reduce the ordinary rigid negativity. Once we overcome our rigid negativity, then we have to overcome our subtle negativity. In order to remove our subtle negativity, we need to recognize the fixation of the mind. Fixation of the mind can be loving your home, loving your family, loving your job, loving your clothes. These are ordinary fixation, which is nothing wrong. We will overcome that. Don't feel guilty. That's not something you need. Gradually, yeah. Because many people, when they become Buddhists, they feel regret, the moment they start, And then they think that changing clothes, changing place make them feel special. Yes, it is absolutely special. But the renunciation of the samsara, it's not how many times you change your clothes, how many places you change, or where you stay. The renunciation comes down to the awareness of the mind. Awareness, having a sense of self-reflection. If you don't have a self-reflection, whatever the clothes or the title you have on the forehead does not matter. It's all irrelevant, right? That's why we have many great religious figures, that we see nowadays, very engaging, close to people, So these are highly realized beings, and yet human quality at the same time, isn't it? So therefore, the definition of the great master comes down to, like the Buddha Shakyamuni, right? With the great realization in heart, but yet very approachable, right? There's no secretary in middle. There's no Changzu in the middle. There's a person who has the reality of the suffering and wants to liberate, seeking answer. And there's a Buddha Shakyamuni in the front, has the answer, providing the logic and the reason without a blind faith, and having a practical approach and how to renounce the samsaric world, right? That is the definition of being a Buddhist, isn't it? So, and now coming back to the Niguma teaching. So today, I'm going to share with you the cleansing of the A. So the cleansing of the A, in Dharmic word, we call it Taje Ayetongra. So, Takje Aye Tongra is in the category of the Vajrasato. So many of you have a Niguma, Saja, Gaju, Gelu, Chonang, so you have a many different religious background, isn't it? So the common ground that we have is that first we start with a preliminary, we start with the prostration, followed by Vajrasato practice. In the Niguma tradition, we do prostration, and then once the prostration is complete, or 100,000 or less, or whatever it is, depending on how dedicated you are, and then it's followed by cleansing of the So cleansing of the is very simple visualization, and any sort of practice you need the three qualities. And I've been saying that when I go to different colleges throughout the country, I say the same thing, and I want to share that with you. When we say I visualize a deity, I visualize so-and-so object. There's three things. One is nang la rangshim meba, sela tokba meba, dela shamba meba. So these are the three qualities. If you say, oh, I'm imagining green tara, then no progress. Of course there's no progress, because you're imagining green tara like your mother. Like, oh, I miss my mother. If you think your mother, and then in that way, if you think that is the visualization or imagination, then there's no progress in the practice. Because you're fixated, you're imagining. In terms of imagining, you are correct. But in terms of the mental aspect, you are incorrect. So many people, they misunderstand, because they think, oh, dabin gomjab gobes, like that. They think that, oh, now I have to. They almost become like very much like, oh, I have to concentrate. I have to hold on to this. The moment you have that kind of a fixation, then the visualization practice does not help. So therefore, the three qualities are nang la rangshim meba. It means you are visualizing a Buddha Shakyamuni, you are visualizing Guru Rinpoche, or whatever it may be, right? Whatever the deity may be, understanding the very appearance of the green Tara or Buddha Shakyamuni is there, but simultaneously, the very nature of appearance, in the very nature of appearance is emptiness. Do you understand? Are you following? Right? So you're not saying, I miss my mother, I miss my father. Right? You're saying, I'm visualizing a green Tara to benefit myself, benefit all the sentient beings. Now, la Ranshim Mepa, it means understanding there's an appearance, but in the very absolute nature of that appearance is emptiness. So you are visualizing a green Tara without any sense of ordinary fixation. Right? You're not imagining, you're visualizing. Now, la Ranshim Mepa, Sela Topa Mepa. Sela Topa Mepa, it means understanding the very visualization is there, and understanding the distraction. So there's the ordinary distraction and subtle distraction. Ordinary distraction is somebody coming through the door, somebody look very beautiful, somebody smells very good, right? Something to do with the sensorial level, and these are the ordinary distraction which we react to. Subtle distraction is that we assume that we are doing good. And then meanwhile, our mind is all over the place. So that's, in Chökyi, we call it ongju, right? So you have to recognize between the ordinary distraction and the subtle distraction. If you recognize the ordinary and the subtle distraction both, then only there's a progress in your, whatever the practice that you may be doing, whether it's a Guru Yoga, whether it's a meditation, and so on, right? So the subtle distraction is when you say, I memorized the 7-line prayer of Guru Rinpoche, right? But your mind is in Punaka. So that's, you assume. You say, yeah, I'm doing it. You're absolutely doing it. There's nothing wrong with it. But the subtle mind is not there. Your clarity is not there. And then what happens after that is that you say, I did 1 hour practice today. I did 2 hours practice today. I did losum chosum. You haven't done it. I have done it. Then all that ego trip happens, right? So when somebody tells me, Rinpoche, you know nothing, I say, you're absolutely right, I know nothing. You haven't done good job in this one. You're absolutely right, I haven't done a good job. I agree with it. Much better. Why have to defend yourself, waste so much time? You say, you're not a good practitioner. Very good, I'm not a good practitioner. They say, oh, you're nothing like previous Kalu Rinpoche. I say, absolutely right, I agree with you. I'm nothing like previous Kalu Rinpoche, So I agree with it. I don't waste my time with it, with myself. I don't fool myself with it. And there's enough illusionary mind in our life. So, therefore, recognizing ordinary distraction and subtle distraction, by identifying these two, maintains the quality of the practitioner, the quality of the session. Nangla rangshe meba, sela topa meba, dela shemba meba. Dela shemba meba, it means you have a sense of bliss and you have no desire of wanting it more. Do you understand? Like when we smoke a cigarette, when we drink alcohol, when we eat something good, we want more. And by more, we have a fixation. By more, we have an illusion. By more, we justify harming other people, lying to other people, deceiving to other people, isn't it? Right? So therefore, when we are meditating, when we are visualizing, you are in a state of bliss. Right? You are not forcing yourself to be in bliss. You are in absolute bliss based on the two qualities that you have developed earlier, which is Nangla Rangshin Mepa. There's an appearance of things, but there's non-fixated mind. Understanding all the appearance of things are there, of the green tara, but that idea of the green tara does not truly exist in the absolute object or form, right? So therefore, you're cut off from the illusionary mind. And then, second stage, sella topa meba, and then you recognize all the subtle distraction, so therefore, all the ordinary and the surrounding does not affect you. And because of that, you are in absolute bliss. You are not creating a bliss. Do you understand? You are not creating artificial bliss. Your bliss is not coming from outside. You are not creating, manufacturing from inside. When your mind is clear, the blessing is there. When your mind is like full of things, like Ananda, Kungao, he has a Buddha right in front of him, advising him, telling him, Ananda doesn't see it. We know the story, right? So just like that, when our mind is not clear, the Buddha is your own family relative, you don't see it. That is a historical fact. So if the Buddha goes through that kind of a challenge, why not we, cannot face that challenge? We will definitely sometimes see the enlightened being as the non-enlightened being, which is absolutely fine, not a problem. Long as that you have a willingness that, oh, I should make a progress, I should make an improvement, and that sort of an understanding approach, the genuine sincerity is very important. So the fourth quality as a practitioner is you need to have a sincerity. When I say sincerity and honesty, I don't mean that you should walk around naked in your neighborhood and be honest to everybody. Don't do that. If you do that, I will say, I have never met you in person. Sincerity and honesty to your own practice, to your one self. That is the most important. Don't lie to yourself. You can lie to other people, not, oh my goodness, my time is finished. So having that sincerity is very important. And then, when you have a sincerity, honesty, transparency in terms of the human quality, improves and exists gradually. And if you don't have a sincerity to oneself, forget about the compassion and love to others. So that's that. Okay, so whoever is ringing the bell, please give me 5 minutes so I can liberate everyone to the enlightened state. Okay, so it starts with, prayers. Like an example, you're making a prayer. Whatever the practice you may be doing, you're saying, Sanje Chodam, Tsoke Chonamla, Chanju Badu, Dani Jabshe, Dage Jinsu, Kibisonam, Drola Penje, Sanje Droparasho, Sanje Chodam, Tsoke Chonamla, Chanju Badu, Dani Jabshe, Dage Jinsu, Kibisonam, Drola Penje, Sanje Droparasho, Sanje Chodam, Tsoke Chonamla, Chanju Badu, Dani Jabshe, Dage Jinsu, Kibisonam, Drola Penje, Sanje Droparasho, like taking a refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. We are Vajrayana practitioner, but don't forget the 3 jewels. Many people with deity this, deity that, all of that we get distracted. It's fine. But don't forget the 3 jewels. That is the essence of everything. Okay? Number 1. Number 2, whatever the practice that you may be doing, due to this result, I shall benefit all the sentient beings. And having a very sincere thought. Don't just finish your prayer. Have a strong thought. You have that capacity. Like when you're angry, you say, "Oh, I hate this person." You're able to hold it very much, very long, very impressive. So just like that, bodhicitta, Changshuk Sem Rinpoche. I want to benefit all the sentient beings, whether you're doing Guru Rinpoche prayer, whether you're doing Avalokiteshvara prayer or Green Tara prayer, whatever it may be, whatever the length may be. So yeah, I want to benefit all the sentient beings sincerely from the bottom of my heart. Have that repetitive thought 3 times in your mind. Then visualize your whole body translucent. Visualize your whole body translucent, a little bit like made out of crystal and translucent, like a see-through. Then within your crown, you visualize tetrahedron. You visualize the pyramid shape, 1 point in the front, 1 point over here, 1 point over there, 1 point over here. Basically in total, 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 points. Chunjung. Okay? And then in the middle of the Chunjung, you visualize white, crystal, see-through, shining And think that is the consciousness, your consciousness, Buddha's consciousness, your Guru's consciousness, simultaneously together as one. And as you visualize that within that tetrahedron, the see-through, and then with that sense of bodhicitta mind, then you recite That's 1. So 21 times, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 5, right? So like 5 times, 10 times, 21 times of and then that's a 1 cycle. So let's do it together. Sanje Shenam Zoge Shenam La Chanju Pada Dane Japsuje Dage Jinsu Gebesona Drola Penje Sanjun Drobarshu Sanje Shenam Zoge Shenam La Chanju Pada Dane Japsuje Dage Jinsu Gebesona Drola Penje Sanjun Drobarshu Sanje Shenam Zoge Shenam La Chanju Pada Dane Japsuje Dage Jinsu Gebesona Drola Penje Sanjun Drobarshu. Now you visualize tetrahedron. You visualize the in the center of your crown. Then you say, and then now think that nectar has been splashing and overwhelmingly from the and then the tetrahedron has been, the Chunjung has been filled instantly, and then went throughout the tetrahedron, throughout the body, and then cleanse all our negativity, our trauma, our suffering, our sickness, all of our karmic related as well. All of that has been cleansed, has been cleansed, has been cleansed. And then with the deep thought of that and meditate a little bit. And then a few seconds later, then you make a dedication. Let all this positivity, be benefit to all the sentient beings, sincerely from the bottom of my heart. Like sincerity is very important. So refuge, bodhicitta, recognizing your distraction, and then the dedication towards the end. These are the qualities that has to be there regardless of the length of the practice. Okay? Then now we do the dedication and the bodhicitta prayer to all the sentient beings. Sonamdi tamje zigbani, tomne nyebe ndrana bamje ne, gyalga naji, palan droba ye sebe sole, ndro warayusho, chanju simjo rinpoche, mage panam gejuji, geba nyamba me, kone kondu mbe warayusho, simjen tamje dedan denjuji, ngendro tamje tatu tongbarasho, chanju semba kanda sasho. So I would like to say deep thanks to the coordinator of the Vajrayana conference, and I would like to say deep thanks to Dashukama Ura. He worked very hard, a few years ago, and this time coordinating. And thank you for the team. Thank you for all the volunteers. Thank you for all the participants and great Vajrayana teacher, Theravada teacher, Mahayana teacher, and individuals, those who have a spiritual experience, sharing with each other. That is a true bodhicitta approach. And thank you so much. And have a wonderful time in Bhutan and the retreat in Vajrayana conference. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.